heightened senses, how to react. We back. We reacted to the biggest hitman to ever wobble in the rack. Jella. Let's get right into it.
Toss Gang went viral. There was Big Jella, the dude Von Off 1700 said could run you down and face you, even though he's a big boy. But how did a failed rapper turn into the street's most feared off? Let's break down the rise of the biggest hitman we've ever seen. No bap. In the world of drill music, there are rappers who talk about it, and then there are the people who actually live it. Big Jella never made it as a rapper. His music low-key flopped, his videos got no views, and nobody took him seriously in the booth. But somehow he became more feared than goofy rappers with millions of streams. They say he was so big and so fast that he could run down someone in a moving car. They say ops were scared to hear Big Jella's name and could even hear him coming from miles away.
Listen, if his big ass is running you down in a moving car, then you shouldn't have stepped foot in that car in the first place. You shouldn't have put your foot on the gas pedal, my boy. Ain't no way he catching me. I'm flipping on him. Fact.
Was that dude, bro? Like folks is that tough. And according to street rumors that spread across social media like wildfire, he was the personal hitman for rising drill rapper Von Off 1700.
If you get in the field and you on the way, I'ma have Big Jella the truck.
The man you called when something needed to be handled. I'm talking sending shit up and putting belt.
Okay, so this Von Off peoples, man. This the one that's rolling right there with Von Off. Every time he in the interview, he's sitting right there next to him.
On the ops. This is the story.
Here's a quick way for survivors of New York
story of how a failed rapper became one of the most notorious figures in his city's underworld, and how his connection to Toss Gang turned him into an urban legend that people were genuinely afraid to talk about. This is the violent rise of Big Jella.
Big Jella, big worm in the face, big perm in the face. Let's get into it. You ain't know about him, you gonna find out about him today. We're gonna make you famous today.
Before we dive into this savage story, you need to understand where this story begins. Big Jella grew up in what locals describe as one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the entire city. A place where poverty wasn't just an economic condition, it was a way of life that shaped every decision, every friendship, every future. We're talking about blocks where gunshots were so common they became background noise, where memorial murals covered more walls than graffiti, where kids learned to distinguish between different caliber weapons by sound before they learned algebra. The hood was controlled by multiple gang factions, each claiming their territory with an intensity that turned everyday activities like walking to the corner store into potentially life-threatening decisions. This wasn't the kind of place where you could stay neutral. The streets had a way of choosing your path for you, especially if you were a young black male with limited options and even more limited opportunities to escape. And Jella, he was impossible to miss, even as a child. People who grew up around him tell stories that sound almost mythical. How he was bigger than most grown men by the time he was 12 years old. How his physical presence alone could change the energy of an entire block. How even older gang members treated him with a certain respect that had nothing to do with his age and everything to do with the quiet intensity he carried. He wasn't loud or boastful. He didn't need to be. When you're that size, that physically imposing, your mere existence makes a statement. But size...
Right. You already built like an alpha. You already built like a big back silver 8. Ain't nobody trying you automatically. Ain't you fast? So they said this nigga fast.
Wasn't his only attribute. According to neighborhood accounts, Jella was always fighting, not just in the playful way kids scrap, but with a seriousness that suggested he understood violence as a language, a currency, a tool for survival. By his early teens, he was already deep in the streets, already involved in the kind of activities that typically don't lead to happy endings. The environment didn't just shape him, it seemed to create him specifically for the role he would eventually play.
Baby, you a 10 like these years. Hey, y'all like that? Y'all like that? Do y'all really like that song? That baby, you gon' blow my high. Y'all really like that song? Yeah, I fuck with it.
A case. Yeah. A case. If you don't think it's building on these boys, you sadly mistaken. Even though we don't wish jail on nobody, we wish everybody freedom and happiness and success. But they just hot. They just writing their own book.
I just listen. I like the look. I like the look.
Can't be.
Now here's where the story takes an interesting turn, because for a brief moment, Jella tried to take a different path. This was during that era, you know the one, when every young dude from the trenches wanted to become a rapper. Drill music was exploding. Artists like Chief Keef and later Pop Smoke were showing that you could turn street credibility into mainstream success, and suddenly every block had 10 aspiring rappers with smartphones, dreams, and absolutely no plan B. Jella was one of them. He tried to channel whatever he was was experiencing in the streets into music, attempted to create that raw, authentic sound that drill fans crave. There are old, grainy music videos floating around, the kind shot on cheap cameras with terrible lighting, where guys are posted up on the block trying to look menacing while rapping about their ops. You can find scattered freestyles, low-quality recordings where Jella's attempting to rap over hard-hitting beats. But here's the harsh reality. His rap career went absolutely nowhere. The views never came. The buzz never built. While other guys from his neighborhood might have been getting thousands of plays and building followings, Jella's music just flopped. And this
That shit went double wood. Was what they
wasn't for lack of authenticity.
Imagine being able to build an app.
Followings. Jella's music just flopped. And this wasn't for lack of authenticity. If anything, he was too real, too genuinely embedded in street life to have the time, focus, or artistic distance needed to craft music that resonated beyond his immediate circle. Think about what that must have felt like. You're watching everyone around you try to escape through rap. You're seeing guys with less street credibility than you getting attention, getting opportunities, and your stuff is just getting ignored. For some people, that failure might have been crushing, might have led them to try harder, to refine their craft. For Jella, it seemed to confirm what the streets had already told him. His talent wasn't in the booth. His value was elsewhere. Nobody took him seriously as an artist, but they took him very seriously as everything else. And maybe that's when the switch fully flipped, when he realized that while his rap career was dead on arrival, his reputation in the streets was just beginning to grow. If you start digging through public records, social media rumors, and street reports from around this time, a pattern emerges. Big Jella's name kept appearing in connection with shooting incidents, gun charges, and violent altercations. We're not talking about one-off situations or youthful mistakes. This was consistent, repeated involvement in the kind of street justice that defines gang warfare in American cities. According to various sources, Jella was tied to multiple shooting incidents where rival gang members were targeted. The details are often murky. That's the nature of street violence, where witnesses disappear, cases fall apart, and the code of silence is enforced with deadly seriousness. But his name...
He looked like a big, scary, big bully ass nigga, big Sammy Sausalito in the chin ass nigga, big Michelin Man tire, knock your windshield wipers off your car ass nigga.
Circulated. Hood news pages would post about shootings, and in the comments, people would speculate about who was behind it. Jella's name came up repeatedly. Gun charges followed him like a shadow. He'd get arrested, charges would be filed, and then somehow, through lack of cooperation from witnesses, through cases falling apart, through the general dysfunction of an overburdened criminal justice system, he'd avoid long sentences. This wasn't luck. This was the result of operating in an environment where nobody talks to police, where even victims refuse to testify, where the streets handle their own justice, and the legal system is just an inconvenient interruption. Police scanner audio from his neighborhood during this period tells its own story. Shots fired calls were so frequent, they created a rhythm. Officers would arrive, find shell casings, maybe find victims, but rarely find cooperation. And in the background of many of these incidents, according to street sources, was the imposing figure of Big Jella. Never quite caught, never quite convicted, but always somehow present in the narrative. Each incident added to his reputation. Each charge...
And I do mean at the end of the day, you are gonna know if he's the one shooting at you. I mean, it ain't, nigga. Right? Or am I tripping? It ain't hard to tell. He could ski. He could ski up. I'm gonna know it's you. That's all I'm saying.
That didn't stick made him seem more untouchable. In the streets, this kind of track record doesn't make you a cautionary tale. It makes you a legend. Around this time, something significant was taking shape in Jella's neighborhood. What started as a small clique of guys from the same blocks began to evolve into something more organized, more visible, more dangerous. They called themselves Toss Gang, and they weren't just claiming a corner. They were building an identity. Early social media posts show Toss Gang members at block parties, on Instagram Live, flashing their signs and representing their set with the kind of pride that goes beyond casual affiliation.
Who the fuck we got over here, man? Our Baba, man. You try to come over here while we live for Baba, your ass not gonna be alive no more.
This was family. This was protection. This was an alternative economic and social structure in a place where legitimate opportunities were scarce. The crew started small but grew rapidly, attracting young guys from the neighborhood who saw membership as both survival strategy and status symbol. Big Jella was there from the beginning, a founding figure whose physical presence alone gave the crew credibility. When Toss Gang posted up, Jella was often in the background, not saying much, not performing for the camera, just existing as a reminder of what the group was capable of. His His role seemed to be less about social media presence and more about being the enforcement, the muscle, the guy who made sure nobody tested them. And then Jella met someone who would change everything. Vanoff 1700. Vanoff was everything Jella wasn't in the music world. He had charisma on camera, his tracks were actually getting attention, his music videos were slick and professional, and he was genuinely talented at turning street experiences into compelling drill music. But Vanoff also understood something crucial. In drill music, authenticity is currency. You can't just rap about street life, you need to be connected to people who actually live it. You need protection, you need credibility. Big Jella provided all of that. What developed between Vanoff 1700 and Big Jella was more than friendship. It was a symbiotic relationship that benefited both of them in different ways. Watch their early Instagram lives together, and you can see the dynamic clearly. Vanoff is animated, talking to the camera, engaging with comments, playing his latest.
My son set up AI trade.
Engaging with comments, playing his latest tracks. Jella is next to him, a massive presence that doesn't say much but doesn't need to. His job isn't to entertain, his job is to be there, to be seen, to send a message. In Vanoff's music videos, you'll spot Jella in the background, not as a featured artist, not rapping along, just posted up with that intimidating stillness.
This is what they do. This is the artists do. It don't really be the artists. It be the ones in the background next to them that will knock your head off. And the artists is just rapping about it. I spoke about this in previous reactions already. It ain't really ever the artist. Some artists do get through. Sometimes it will be the artist, but 9 times out of 10 it's the ones they around. You know what I mean? Like, that's all they. That's the one.
Made him so feared. Directors didn't need to give him acting notes. He just had to exist in the frame, and suddenly the video felt more dangerous, more authentic, more connected to the streets it claimed to represent. Street sources claim that Vanoff essentially adopted Jella into the music movement, bringing him to studios, to video shoots, to meetings with other artists. In return, Jella provided something more valuable than any music industry connection: protection. In a genre where artists are frequently targeted, where gang members might show up to shoots or shows, where old beefs can turn violent at any moment, having someone like Big Jella on your team was insurance. There are countless throwback videos of Toss Gang outside together, at hood parties on the block, just hanging out, and in almost every frame, you can spot both of them. Vanoff holding court, entertaining, creating content. Jella watching, observing, a silent guardian whose presence changed the energy of every space they entered together. People online started noticing the relationship and began commenting on it. Some saw it as wholesome, a friendship between two guys from the same neighborhood supporting each other's paths. Others saw it as something darker, something more transactional. And as more information leaked out, as street rumors gained traction, that darker interpretation started to seem increasingly plausible. This is where the story gets disturbing, where speculation and street legend intersect in ways that are impossible to fully verify, but equally impossible to completely dismiss. According to multiple sources, hood news pages, social media investigators, people claiming insider knowledge, Big Jella wasn't just Vanoff's friend. He was Toss Gang's enforcer, the man you called when words weren't enough, when a situation needed to be handled with violence, when someone needed to be dealt with permanently. The rumors were specific and consistent. When Toss Gang had beef with rival sets, Jella was allegedly the one who got active, street terminology for engaging in violence. When opposition gang members, needed to be sent a message, Jella was supposedly the one delivering it. Multiple online sources claimed he was Vanoff's alleged hitman, a term that sounds dramatic but was used repeatedly in discussions about his role. These weren't just baseless internet gossip. The rumors had details, named specific incidents, referenced shootings that lined up with documented violence in the area. Hood bloggers made videos analyzing his movements, tracking when he appeared in certain locations, and connecting those appearances to subsequent violent incidents. Drill news channels dedicated segments to discussing his alleged activities, always careful to use words like allegedly and rumored, but clearly believing there was substance behind the speculation. And then there was the quote that went viral, the moment that seemed to confirm everyone's darkest suspicions. In an Instagram live that got clipped and shared thousands of times, Vanoff 1700 was joking around with friends when he said something that sent chills through anyone who heard it. Jella can run you down even if you're in a car. That's how big and fast he is. On the surface, it could be interpreted as friendly exaggeration, the kind of joke friends make about each other. But the context context made it feel like something else entirely. A threat wrapped in humor, a warning disguised as a compliment, a public declaration of what everyone already suspected. The clip went viral not just as a meme, but as evidence, something people pointed to when arguing about Jella's true role in Toss Gang's operations. The comment became a dark joke in drill music circles, something people referenced when discussing Jella. But underneath the humor was genuine fear, genuine belief that this was more truth than exaggeration. And that fear, that reputation, that sense that Jella was capable of extreme violence only grew stronger with time. As the rumors spread, as the stories multiplied, Big Jella's reputation transcended his actual actions and became something larger, something almost mythical. Parents in the neighborhood reportedly warned their children about him, not just in the general way adults caution kids about gang members, but specifically by name, as someone to avoid at all costs.
Them boys had more Glocks than the cops. I'm sorry, I got caught up on the weaponry and the artillery. And it's crazy because these niggas is polar opposite. This nigga Big Jella is a big greaseball, banana back ass nigga, and Von North 1700 is some little squeedle duck, sweet meat ass nigga. Like, this shit is crazy. And they just linked, and opposites must do really attract.
Level of fear that goes beyond typical street reputation. Music fans and social media users started making jokes comparing him to video game characters, calling him real-life Gears of War size, referencing the massive, intimidating soldiers from that video game franchise. The comparisons were meant to be funny, but they also reflected genuine awe at his physical presence. People who saw him in person would report back online, confirming that he was indeed as big and imposing as the story suggested, that his presence genuinely altered the atmosphere of wherever he was. Even rival gang members, in unguarded moments caught on social media, would admit that Jella was not someone to test. In a culture built on bravado, where admitting fear is seen as weakness, these acknowledgments were significant.
Not all liver supplements.
Built on bravado, where admitting fear is seen as weakness, these acknowledgments were significant.
That's just really the real recognizing the real. That's all I didn't know, that he all good, he's straight, and he will probably really run you down. Von North wasn't capping. This man will probably hop out and do 0 to 60 in 4.5. That's crazy.
Suggested that Jella's reputation had reached a level where even his enemies respected, or at least feared, what he was capable of. Hood pages tracked his movements like he was a celebrity, posting when he appeared in new videos, speculating about his involvement in various incidents, treating him as a figure of endless fascination. And the fascinating thing about all of this attention was that it came not from music success, not from artistic achievement, but from his reputation as someone genuinely dangerous, someone authentically connected to street violence in ways that drill rappers often only pretended to be. The failed rapper storyline became part of his legend rather than a source of shame. It reinforced the narrative that the streets chose him, that his destiny was never in a recording booth, but in the shadows handling business that successful rappers needed handled but couldn't do themselves. His lack of musical success became proof of his authenticity. He wasn't trying to be famous, he wasn't seeking attention, he was just living his life, and that life happened to be terrifying.
Living his life like it's golden.
So where's Big Jella now? That question doesn't have a simple answer, and maybe that's fitting for someone who built his reputation on being in the shadows, on being the guy you didn't see coming until it was too late.
His big ass ain't in the shadows. I had to pause that. His big ass creating shadows, but he ain't in the shadows.
Some sources claim he's currently locked up, finally caught by charges that stuck when others didn't. Others insist he's still outside, still moving in the same circles, just more careful about his digital footprint now that he knows people are watching. There are rumors he's laid low, left the city entirely, trying to escape a reputation that made him too hot, too watched, too likely to end up dead or permanently imprisoned. But then again, there are also whispers that he's about to pop up in a new Von Off 1700 video, that the relationship between them remains as strong as ever. That report
They talking about this nigga like he's a cryptid. Like, this nigga's a mythological creature. Like, if you see him, then you've just seen the Jella.
Reports of his exit from the streets are greatly exaggerated. In the world of drill music and gang culture, information is deliberately murky, truth is flexible, and everyone has an incentive to control their narrative. What we know for certain is that Big Jella's story represents something larger than one man's journey from failed rapper to alleged enforcer. His story is about how poverty and limited opportunities create pathways that seem inevitable, about how physical size and a reputation for violence can become someone's most valuable assets, about how drill music and street gangs have become intertwined in ways that blur the lines between entertainment and real danger. When you step back and look at the complete picture of Big Jella's rise, what emerges is a deeply American story, a story about how environment shapes destiny, about how some people are born into circumstances that offer only bad options, and how violence becomes not just a choice, but a career path, a skill set, a source of identity and value. Jella never made it as a rapper, but he became something more memorable than most successful artists in his genre. A legend, a cautionary tale, a name that people genuinely feared to speak. His connection to Von Off's 1700 and Toss Gang showed how the drill music industry depends on authentic street credentials, and how that dependency creates a market for people willing to provide protection, enforcement, and violence. At the end of the day, this is a story without heroes, a narrative that doesn't offer easy lessons or comfortable conclusions. It's just the reality of how certain neighborhoods operate, how gang culture provides structure in the absence of legitimate opportunities, and how some people become exactly what their environment.
He talking that shit, ain't he? Almost make you feel good about this gangbanging shit. Like, yeah, I could do it too. But nah, never mind. We ain't supporting none of that. We ain't hating on nobody. I am gonna pop my shit. I'm gonna crack my jokes. That's just what it is. This is heightened senses. But the niggas ain't learned what happened to the last 42 drill rappers before them. They ain't get the memo. Somebody go get them boys the memo real quick. And then go come back and subscribe here. We'll give you another one.